Mr. Math here. Thanks for watching my videos. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to click the bell icon to be notified of updates. Hello again, viewers. Welcome to my new Let's Play. This is Let's Play Startropics. I guess you could say cult classic on the old NES game console. Released in 1990, as it says at the bottom of the screen there. Startropics was basically inspired by the first two Legend of Zelda games, which at this point in time were the only two that had been released. The original Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. And the thing about Startropics, though, is that it's a lot more linear and in a way limited compared to those first two Zelda games. So, yeah, it was inspired by them, but it's received a lot of criticism because, like I said, it's a lot more linear and a bit more simplified. And also, there are areas in the game where there are actual death traps, where if you go through a door into the wrong room, or if you jump in the wrong direction while you're in one of the dungeons, you just die immediately, no matter how much life power you have. And a lot of people don't like that. I do understand why, but the consequences of falling into one of these death traps, or even getting an entire game over, is so mild that I can't help but think that there's no big deal to there. No big deal to that. And really, it just encourages you to look around, explore, open the entire map when you're in, open up the entire map when you're in the dungeons. And if you lose a life or get a game over even, then it happens. Just gotta pick yourself back up and carry on. Another major criticism is that because the game is so linear, there's really not much exploration to speak of. You can't backtrack. You can't go back into old dungeons or even back to old areas. So the lack of exploration and backtracking does make the game feel pretty, small, you might say. On the other hand, there is an advantage there when you have just the linear game. It's much easier for the game developer to tell a solid story. So, there are pros and cons. And also, since you can't backtrack, you don't have to worry about missing anything. And, the title screen just keeps on going and going and going. Let's bring that to a close. Okay, so here is the save file selection screen. Now, before I get into it, I got Startropics way back in the day, in the year that it released. And the reason I got it is because that old magazine, Nintendo Power, had a really big expose about the game in the early half of 1990. I don't remember exactly when. I actually still have that magazine somewhere in a box. I could go dig it out and look it up if I really cared. But at any rate, they did a huge expose of Startropics in one of their issues, and it convinced me to try the game out. And back then, Blockbuster was still a thing, so we rented it from Blockbuster a few times. I thought it was great, and we ended up buying it from some toy store somewhere. The really neat thing about it that blew my not-quite-teenage mind is that it actually came with an accessory of sorts. It came with a quote-unquote letter that was quote-unquote written to you by an important character in the game. So let's actually get more into that. You are the very generically named Mike Jones. You're an American, 15 years old, and captain of your school's baseball team, as well as the pitcher. And it's currently summer break, and you're heading down to an island in the South Pacific to visit your uncle, your uncle, Dr. Jones, who's an archaeologist doing research down here. He's on this little island down in the South Pacific called Sea Island, and the reason it's called that is because it's shaped like the letter C. And you saw on the title screen there that a helicopter airlifts you in. So yeah, there in the box that the game came in, there was actually a letter, basically written by Dr. Jones to Mike Jones, saying, it'll be great to have you come down here and visit. And you should see the letter on the screen right now, because I actually still have the thing. I have all my old NES games, and so I actually did dig out my copy of Startropics and found the letter and scanned it in so that I could show it to you. And you'll see a little message at the very bottom of the letter that says, do not eat this thing. Do not eat this piece of paper. Oh, and by the way, save this letter until the end of the game. It's important. Yeah, so apparently they felt they needed to make absolutely sure that the kids playing this game did not eat that piece of paper. Yeah, I suppose it's a legitimate worry. So yeah, that's an actual accessory of sorts that was put in the box that the game came in. And it kind of blew my mind that that was even possible. Because this was back in the NES days when that kind of extra stuff just didn't come in games. If only because the boxes were too small to have enough space for it. So, having shown you that and given you the background of the game, let's register our name. Might as well just stick with his name, Mike Jones. And you can see there, I now have my name put in there, or Mike's name rather. And on the right side of the file selection screen is chapter numbers. Yeah, this game is divided up into chapters, and once you finish a chapter, you can never come back to it. That's one of the main ways in which this game is so linear. You're just always going forward into new chapters and going through more of the story. So let's just get right into it. Chapter 1. Prelude. One day in summer, you land at Sea Island where Dr. Jones has his laboratory. And here we are on the landing pad where the helicopter came. You saw that during the opening cutscene there, where the helicopter came in and went down onto the island and landed here. You'd think that there would be people here to meet us at the helipad or something like that, but no, we're on our own. So you can see, if you know anything about those early Legend of Zelda games, Legend of Zelda and also Zelda 2 Adventure of Link, that this kind of resembles the second one. This kind of resembles Zelda 2 Adventure of Link, where you have this top-down view with a little sprite on the screen going through the map. The trees are impassable, the water is impassable, these mountains are impassable. So, yeah, we have a very linear path leading us over to the village there. And that, by the way, is Dr. Jones's laboratory. And here we are at the village. Welcome to Coral Cola. For some reason, all of the villages in this game have the word cola appended to the end of the name as a suffix. I don't know why they do that. I'm reasonably certain that is not a legitimate Southern Pacific habit of naming all of their villages something cola. But, if any Pacific Islanders are watching this, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So we have to go talk to everyone. Welcome to Sea Island. Mike, you're an ace pitcher, I hear. Show me how to throw a fastball sometime? I'm Miss Coral 1990. Do you think I'm pretty? Yeah, 8-bit sprites aren't really good at showing off a person's beauty, so let's just take the safe option and say yes. I have to hurry. I'm going to roast a pig for your welcome party. And this must be the unfortunate swine in question. Oink, oink! And he turns around and shows us his butt. Who are you? Stay away from here! Where do you come from? Americola? Your uncle, Dr. Jones, is so nice. We call him Dr. J. Oh, last week I met Dr. J. He was very busy solving some strange puzzle. It looks like that guy has a crush on Miss Cola 1990. Mike, your uncle told me about you. I feel like we are old friends. Have you met our chief yet? He's waiting for you. Well, I haven't met him yet. Let's go talk to him. Ah, ominous music. I've been waiting for you. I am Chief Coracola, and a good friend of your uncle. Listen, Mike, I have some bad news. Last night, try not to be too upset, but your uncle, Dr. Jones, has been abducted. We must keep this from the islanders so they don't panic. You are the best hope of rescuing Dr. Jones. Oh, am I now? Some soft kid from America? If you say so. I don't know what to do. Can you help? Sure, why not? Good, you're brave. Take this star. You may think this star is just a toy, but it's very powerful. Mike, you're an ace pitcher. Use it. You've got a star. Looks like a yo-yo to me. Mike, it looks peaceful around here, but in the dark below, many monsters have appeared these last few years. Don't let them get you. Mike, the fate of your uncle is in your hands. Find a tunnel in the village and hurry to Dr. J's laboratory. Yeah. Doesn't really seem realistic that some strange kid who they've never met before is being trusted with this task, but okay. I do have to say, I like how the game just jumps right into it, no fluff. Who are you? Stay away from here! Yeah, he's going to keep saying that until we have finished speaking to everybody. I heard you were coming. Want to go fishing? Tempting, but apparently I have a quest on my hands. Last night I gazed at the Southern Cross. Suddenly I saw many shooting stars. Legends say shooting stars are omens of disaster. Oh me, oh my! Now he should let us in. Oh, you're Dr. J's nephew. Here's the tunnel. Good luck. Alright, so into the tunnel we go. Ah! That's quite the face to encounter when you're going down into a dark tunnel. Glad I wasn't there. Leave Mike to handle this stuff. I'm the shaman and sister of the island chief. Your uncle was abducted because he found a secret in the lost ruins. I have great hope that you will succeed in rescuing Dr. Jones. Just like your North Star, island sailors look for the Southern Cross. Mike, many wild monsters await you in the dark below, but remember, the magic of the Southern Cross is always on your side. Now begin the test of island courage. Good luck. And right down into it we go. With an autosave feature, these days every game has an autosave feature, but back in 1990 that was fairly unique. So, here we are in the first dungeon, and you can see that the art style has changed. Now Mike is a lot taller, but it's still kind of a top-down perspective. So this is basically inspired by the original Legend of Zelda, whereas that world map stuff was inspired by Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. So it's all kind of mashed up together. Now, one weird thing about this is that you have to walk in full squares. Once you start moving, you are committed until you've reached the entire next square on the grid. If you just tap the D-pad lightly in one direction, Mike turns that way. If you hold it down, he actually starts walking that way. And then you got the jump button here, and the hit things with your yo-yo button here. And then you have the start button. Now, you can see that next to the yo-yo there are a few boxes. If you push to the left and right, you can select optional weapons if you find any when you're in the dungeon. Right now I only have the yo-yo, so it's not letting me do anything. And if you push up or down on the D-pad, it brings you to the magic items screen here. I don't have any magic items, but I will find a couple here in the dungeon. And in order to use them, you have to bring up this magic items screen and highlight them by pushing left or right, and then push the A button to use them. Now, I don't have any, so that's kind of superfluous at the moment. Let's just get started. Okay, so we have some slugs here. I think we have to kill them all. It could also be that I just have to kill one of them in particular. Nope, I do have to kill all of them. Yeah. Now these panels here, you cannot walk onto them. You have to jump on them. And you can also jump a distance of a single panel. So if I jump here, I could go over the water to the next panel. You can only jump a single panel's width. So if there were 2 panels worth of water here, I could not jump over. If I tried to jump over, I'd fall in the water and die. Also, you might have noticed that one of the slugs dropped a star when I finished it off, like that right there. I don't remember what happens when you collect enough stars. And that one disappeared before I could grab it. I waited too long. I think 5 stars refills one of your hearts, but I don't remember for sure. Now, to collect those enemy drops, you can hit them with the yo-yo, or you can just walk onto them. However you want to do it. Okay, now we have a slightly more complicated room and a new enemy. We have a few slugs, but we also have a rat up there. And if you were paying attention earlier, you'll note that you can't get up here, because if I try to jump up there, I'll fall into the water and die. Let me show you. Oops. So it boots me back to this room. And let's get back through here. Now, if I wanted to die again, I could jump into this water. But let's skip that. I can jump over this water. Now, as things get a bit more complicated, you'll want to keep in mind that you can jump across these single panel gaps. You can use that to get away from enemies, or have a defense against enemies, and then you can hit them from across the water. Anyway, so this room. There was another star. So how do we get up there? Well, the game kind of telegraphs this. There's a slug there, and if we kill it and then jump on this panel... Look, another panel opened up. This panel now has a foot mark on it, showing that it was some kind of pressure plate. And now we can jump over here, and that opens that door up there. And it also gives us another platform that we can use to jump up to where the rat is. Let's just check all the panels to make sure. Because you never really know for sure where you'll find pressure pads. Now, the rats are stronger than the slugs. They take 2 hits to kill with the yo-yo instead of just 1. I have 4 stars, okay. Okay, so something happened when I got that 5th star, but I don't see what it was. Probably would have refilled one of my hearts if I was missing any. So having killed all of those rats, now I have to jump across here. If I go down here, aha! Now the door's open. If I jump to the left again, I die. Like so. And then it boots me back to this room again. Yay! So every dungeon has checkpoints, and it doesn't tell you when or where they are. Now, I am going to get another death further on, deliberately, so that I can show you what it looks like. I only have 1 life left. It says so in the bottom right corner. So, if I lose that life, it's game over. And I will be losing that life somewhere in this dungeon. But not here. Unless I make a really bad mistake. And Alright. Heart. Oh, a star. Okay. This is a kill all the enemies room. Also, you might notice that as I proceed, the doors close behind me and I can't go back. So that's another way in which this game is really linear. Okay, so I can open the doors to the left and the right. But if I actually go in that direction, whether left or right, it brings me to a dead end with a bunch of bats on it. And he got me, that jerk. So we have a skull-shaped room here with a bunch of bats and nothing else. So yeah, this room is just a dead end. The one on the right is pretty much identical. Ah. Boy, that was clumsy. And that low life alarm is going to keep beeping at me. So yeah, just a dead end. So how do we get out of here? Let's see. Is it up here? I know that there's... The way out is up. There it is. Okay, so if I jump on this panel, the door blows open. And there's a treasure chest there. And inside is our first sub-weapon. So if we push start and select it, we now have a fireball in our inventory. And it has slightly more range than the yo-yo. Only one additional square, but that's going to come in handy. And we don't want to waste it. Though actually, it doesn't really matter if we waste it, because I'm going to be getting a game over quite deliberately. Okay, so just needed to take out the rats to open the door. And we got urgent music. And we got a snake. Now the snake will charge at you if you get into a straight line with it. Which is easy enough to take care of. And we have another dead end. There's nothing down here. Jump on all the panels, and there's nothing here. Yeah. That's kind of odd, isn't it? And we got more fireballs. Now if we go up here, oh ho! Got another switch. And that causes the wall at the end of this corridor to blow up. And inside is a room with fairy music. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, really. And now we have a potion. If we push start, go to magic items, and use it, refills our life. And it gets rid of that annoying beeping. So there's a hidden switch right there. If we hit it, we have another secret room with another magic potion. Yay! Ah, and another switch. And another secret door. Surely we are about to get another magic potion. Oh, no, this is a death trap. If you go into this room, you die. Period. And it's game over. Don't despair, Mike. Under the Southern Cross, anything is possible. And we are back at the beginning of the dungeon. So that's what happens when you get a game over. Now another thing to note is when you get a game over like that, you start with only 3 hearts full. Of course, at this early point in the game, that doesn't matter very much because that's all we've got, right? But later on in the game, that can be pretty inconvenient. So the price for getting game overs goes up as you get further into the game. Okay. Oh, heart. Okay, now we go across this thing. And this time, no more mucking about. Let's just get straight through. So far, so good. Oh, that was close. I hit him with the yo-yo just before I would have landed on him. Okay, so it was over here, I believe. Yes, there we go. And now we get this treasure chest again. There's the foot panel. Let's use some of these. So the fireballs are actually stronger than the yo-yo. The yo-yo requires 2 hits to take out those rats. The fireball only requires 1. Might as well keep using them then. Okay. Normally you would think, save it for the boss. Since after all there is going to be a dungeon boss. But trust me, you don't need 50 fireballs for the dungeon boss. Probably don't need 2 magic potions either, but I'm going to get them anyway. So yeah, no need to go up any further since we know it's just a death room up there. Right. Now the treasure chest is back, but if we open it up, it's empty. We already got the item that was in it. Stressful music. Okay, and now the dungeon boss, the Sea Serpent. Not sea as in ocean, but C as in letter C. It's a joke, you see. Shoots fire at us. We can get 1 or 2 hits before the fireballs hit us. And there he goes. The Sea Serpent is deceased. And there are his bones. He got what he deserved. And we are at the end of the dungeon. We walk on out, and the light of day at last. Wow, you've done it! And you get points! So, I really don't understand how they figure out the points. I get some of it. The fact that I actually had a game over cost me some points. I would have had more if that hadn't happened. But yeah, I don't care. And points are a really outdated system. Even back in the early 90s, they were kind of starting to go away. And these days, even retro revival games don't use points anymore. Well, most of them at least. They do still have a place in some games. I don't really understand what place they have in this game, because what are the point of points, so to speak. But, I guess technically it does show you how well you did. Like I said, if I hadn't gotten that game over, I would have gotten more points. But really, who cares? So here's this guy. Hi, I'm Babu, Dr. J's assistant. Mike, you know Dr. J has a submarine called Sub-C. The ID code to start the engine of Sub-C is 1492. A Christopher Columbus fan. That's, not so great. Christopher Columbus was a really huge jerk, and that's putting it mildly. But, okay. I guess this was 1990. People were still sort of in love with the myth of, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue and blah blah blah. Anyway, back to Babu here. Memorized the ID code, yay! Please get on board Sub-C in the excuse me, laboratory. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm afraid of. Okay, so yeah, he just says the same stuff. Yada yada yada. Yeah, he's afraid of whoever abducted Dr. J, it would appear. We'll learn more about that in the future. And we have the submarine and a robot who looks suspiciously like Rob, R-O-B, from the early-most iterations of the old NES. Anyway, in the cockpit of Subsea, welcome on board. I am the navigational computer of Subsea. Call me Navcom. Okay, Rob, if you want to go by that pseudonym, we will go along with it. Input the ID code now. ID code 1492. Start engine. Aye aye, Captain. Subsea is ready to launch. All ahead full. So viewers, this is the end of the first episode of Let's Play Startropics. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode as we continue our adventure on into Chapter 2. Have a good one.